Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide to the Sugarmill for Farming Simulator 25. This is going to cover all platforms, whether you're on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC and Mac. This will work for you, and it's going to be base game stuff only, so just be aware of that. We're not talking about mods and stuff like that. I also do tend to talk a little fast, as you can probably tell, so if you need to slow me down, you can slow the video down using the controls down below. That way you don't miss anything. Make sure you also check out the first pinned comment down below. If I missed anything or anything changed in an update or something like that, the information will be down there in that first pinned comment for you as well. So just be aware of that. There are also time codes down below, so if you wanted to skip ahead to, I don't know, something specific that you're looking for, you can use those time codes down below to go ahead and skip to that. What we are going to cover in this video is placing and buying the sugar mill, production inputs for the sugar mill, using the sugar mill, the products the sugar mill produces, moving pallets and how to move them, and profitability of the sugar mill. So that's what we're going to cover, and let's go ahead and dive into it. So first up, placing and buying. Now I actually don't know if there's one on this map for us to buy. Is there a sugar mill? There is. Perfect. So what you're going to do, if you want to buy one, you either need to find it on the map, which I think it's down here actually. Yep, right there, and you can hit visit on there, or if you go into productions here, look at available, click on that, and then you can hit visit down there as well. It'll take you right to it, and then you need to find this wrench icon, which it usually spawns you right on top of. Come up to it, and again, I have my controls up there in the upper left-hand corner for PC. You can turn those on and off if you're on PC using F1. If you're on console, go into your menu, go down to your settings, and then go to general settings and turn your help window on if you want to see the controls so you can see what you need to hit for you. But we're going to hit R, and we're going to hit yes. Why the building? Perfect. Now we own this. If you want to sell it, you go into the menu, click on the building, and you can sell it off. You are going to see you're going to take about a 50% cut at least off of your profit there. And then later, if you decide, well, I want to rebuy it, you can come back up to it and buy it again, which is great. Now back here, we do have our sugar mill, which is placed on the map. So if I go into the build menu, I'm going to go down here to factories, which is Shift P to get into the build menu on PC. And then there are a couple different options actually. So in here we have, well, first and foremost, if I can find it, we have the main big sugar mill, which that's spinnery right there. Where's the main big sugar mill? Come on now. I can find it, I'm sure. There we are, sugar mill right there. And you can place it down wherever you'd like to. So if I place it there, boom. And if I sell it right away, before I exit the build menu, it's 240,000 I'll get for it. But if I hop out and then I go back in the build mode, and then I decide to click on it and sell it, it's still going to give me half of my money back. So just be aware of that. There's also the small one. So I have the big one here and the small one there. There's also a small one down here as well, which we can find. Theoretically, there we go, the small sugar mill right there, which again, you can place down just like anything else. And again, you can sell it just like the other ones as well. The only difference between the two, and I'll talk about this a little bit more detail as we keep going, is this thing is 10 times faster than this one in terms of its production. So that's kind of the main differences between the two, is just one is 10 times faster, but the recipes and everything are going to be the same otherwise. All right, now we need to talk about the production inputs. So for each of these productions, there's an input point, which is going to be shown off by this little dump icon right here. So if you're using one of the ones placed on a map, look for that dump icon. For the placeable big one, it's going to be right there. And then for the smaller one, over here, it's actually around the back side right here, which is actually probably technically the front of it. I just placed it backwards, but you're going to dump stuff right there. Now, I do have some sugar cane right here, which all we're going to do, if you have a trailer or something like this, pull over that dump point, and you can dump it in just like that. Now, the inputs for the production is, well, obviously, as you can see here, sugar cane. And if you want to learn how to grow sugarcane, I'll put a card up on your screen to teach you everything you need to know about how to grow sugarcane. And then obviously the other inputs that we have are going to be sugar beets and chop beets. So chop beets, I don't have a video out on how to make those. Basically, they are a iteration of sugar beets. So if you want to learn how to grow sugar beets, I will put a card up on your screen right now so you guys can learn how to grow sugar beets for your farm. That way you can make sugar if you'd like to. And then again, I have some sugar beets here, just like with the trailer. I'm just going to pull over the production endpoint, and I'm going to go ahead and put these guys in here real quick. I am using, I guess technically speaking, I did say no mods or anything like that. These are modded pieces of equipment only for the sake of me being able to transport more stuff faster to make that easier to make tutorial videos. But otherwise, everything's still going to be the same. So there we go. Those are the production inputs. Now we need to talk about how the actual production facility itself works. So we need to talk about that. Now, what you're going to do to be able to access the production menu is there's three kind of ways to be able to access it. One is you go up to this little wrench icon that's by the factory, the same one that you're going to go to when you're purchasing a factory that's already in the map, and you're going to come up and access it. It'll hit R. It's going to bring you right into the production menu right there. You also can go into the menu, hit escape, and then you usually bring you into the map, and then you go down here where we're at, this there, and it'll show you all your production chains in here, and you can select it on here. Now, if it's set to available, you need to scroll over to own so you can see the ones you actually own. And then the last way to do it, and you can see the wrenches over here for this guy right here, if you wanted to use the big one there. But the last way to do it is go into the map and then click on the production on the map here and then hit manage. It'll take you directly into the production menu here. Now, once in the menu, we need to click over here so this is highlighted, and you can see we have 3 different recipes. We're only making sugar, but we're using either sugar beet cut, sugar beets, or sugarcane to make our sugar. Now, if we go over here, we have incoming materials, which is sugar beets. So we can see we have 36,000 liters of sugar beets in the small sugar mill, and we have 360,000 liters in the big one. Again, they're the same for both of these. And then we also have 0 liters of sugar beet cut because I didn't put anything in there. And then sugarcane, you have that right there. So again, the only differences between these two is going to be the recipes are going to be the same. It's just going to be that this one, the small one, is 1/10 of the speed of this one. This one's 10 times faster than the small one and has 10 times the capacity as well. So that's the only kind of differences there. So just be aware of that. And then outgoing products, we obviously have sugar, which you can see we have 0 liters of so far. Of 180,000 liters that we can hold, and then you can see the percentage of how full the factory is on the right-hand side there. Down here, we have some more information about the production. So we have the status here, which we can change that. It's currently inactive because this is not currently running. Now, if I hit activate, it's going to say running. And now if it doesn't have the material needed, which this one does not, it's now going to say material missing and then have this little exclamation point because we don't have any sugar beet cut. This one, however, will just keep saying running until it runs out of material, and then it'll go back to saying material missing right there. So I'll deactivate both of those now, however. And then we have the cycles per month. So what this means, there's a recipe down here, which the recipe, for example, for sugar beet cut is 5 liters of sugar beet cut to 3 liters of sugar. So it's going to take 5 liters of sugar beet cut to make 3 liters of sugar. Now, this recipe is going to happen 5,880 times per month. How many cycles per month? So this is the cycle right here. This is one cycle is going through this recipe once. So that's going to happen 5,880 times a month. And then that's just what's going to happen. Now, that is divided out. So if I have 1-day months, then this is going to happen 5,880 times per day. If I'm playing with 2-day months, it's going to happen 5,880 times every 2 days, and so on and so forth. So it's divided out by however many days you have in the month. It is, again, per month. Same thing with the cost per month. This is divided by however many days per month, and it's going to bill you by the day, depending on how many days are per month for you. So that's where that's going to come from right there. Then you can see for, well, sugar beets here, it's 2 liters of sugar beet to 1.05 liters of sugar. Sugar cane, 2 liters of sugar cane to 1 liters of sugar there. So you can see the different recipes there. That's what we have going on. Now, last thing to talk about is the output mode. You can see these are all on storing, which if I change it, it's going to go to selling, but they're all going to adjust because there's only one actual output, which is the sugar. So storing, if you have it set to storing, it's going to produce sugar until there's enough here to spawn a pallet. Then it's going to spawn a pallet and then keep doing that until there's no more space to spawn pallets. And I'll show you where the pallets spawn and everything like that. And we'll take a look at a pallet later on. And it's going to keep doing that until there's no space for pallets, then slowly fill this bar up. If I have it set to selling right here, that means that this is going to sell every hour, however much sugar is in here, and it's going to take about a 20 to 40% cut of what you would make off it if you sold it yourself. So you get kind of charged a fee basically to sell it automatically for the convenience. And if I change it over to distributing, this is kind of useful as well. Let's say I'm making sugar here, but I want to use the sugar in a different production facility. Well, for free, I can set it to distributing, and it'll automatically move all of this over to another production facility. For example, like the bakery that has sugar as an input, it'll automatically move it over to that production facility to run, which is pretty straightforward. So that's kind of the differences between those. We're going to set them back over to if I go over here, we're going to change them all back over to storing because we actually want to produce some sugar. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and get some rocking and rolling here, and we're going to talk about the products and where they spawn. All right, as you can see, we have a pallet of sugar that has spawned, which is great. Now, this checkered box here on the outside is where your pallets are going to spawn. And then for the smaller production over here, this is where the checkered box is going to spawn here. Now, sugar can be used for a few different things as well. You can use it to, well, you can sell it off. If you want to check out a video on how to sell pallets that goes into a little bit more detail, I'll put a card up on your screen right now. But essentially, you're going to go in here. You're going to go down to your prices menu here. We're going to find sugar on this list, which should be right there. There we go. And then you just need to take it to one of these places that's going to buy it, and you can sell it off there. So pretty straightforward. You also can use it in other productions. So for example, it's used at like the dairy and the bakery for different productions. So you can use it to make more stuff as well. So those are kind of the two main purposes for sugar, is to do that with them, either sell it or use it in other productions. So pretty easy. And again, this is the only product that we're going to get from this. We're only making sugar from the sugar mill, which makes sense. So there you guys go. Now, the next little bit of a video I'm going to play is a pre-recorded segment that's going to go over how to move pallets and kind of the basics on that. And that'll be what you'll need to do in order to move these guys around. So I'll go ahead and play that. And then when we come back, we will talk about the profitability. To be able to move pallets around in-game, you have to be able to use a pallet fork of some kind on one of these various pieces of equipment, which I'll show you how to do that. Obviously, you can enable super strength if there's a mod out there for that, or if you're on PC and you enable the console commands, then you should be able to activate that. That won't work for console, though. If you do want to learn how to do that on PC, I do have a link to a video down below in the description that will help you enable console commands for your PC game. That way you can just enable super strength. But if you are without super strength or on console, let's talk about the different ways to do this. So, first off, we have a tractor with a front loader attachment. We have a front loader, we have a telehandler, a wheel loader, a skid steer, and a forklift. Now, if you're lifting like very large items or like a lot of forestry stuff, like some of the forestry pallets, like in terms of like wood beams and stuff like that, you may want you may want a wheel loader to do it. Otherwise, a wheel loader might be a little overkill for you, but you can find all these in the store. So I'll show you this. You can also check on your farm if, let's say, well, for example here, one of the starting tractors is this guy on a lot of the maps. So if you go into here, this guy does have the ability to add a front loader attachment. If you see this in the store, you can hit yes, it'll put it in there. Then you want to confirm your customizations down below if you're customizing it at the shop. Otherwise, you can just go in and you can check anyone and you'll see if they have a front loader attachment or not. This one should. There you go, front loader attachment. Make sure you say yes to that. You can either do quickie, hour, or no for those as well. Now, whatever design you decide to go with there, go back out of here, go down to front loaders here, and then pick the correct one. And then you'll see down here there's a horsepower requirement. Whatever horsepower your tractor is, try to get the one closest to your horsepower. You don't want to have this massive one here if it's not going to work for your tractor. You also can go in here, and if I hit... oh, it's not going to be on there. Darn it. Sometimes they'll show up with customizations below to be able to add a front loader. This one actually will do it here because this one has a specific one. But sometimes you'll see that and you can just do that. So if that's available, that's the easiest way to find out what one is designed to go with that. Now, if you're going to buy a front loader, telehandler, wheel loader, or skid steer loader, there's a specific process for that. First, go in here. You can either go in here to look at the dedicated front loaders, dedicated skid steers, dedicated wheel loaders, and then, or excuse me, dedicated telehandlers, dedicated skid steers are down here. And then you need to go to their appropriate category. So for a front loader, you need to go to front loader tools, telehandler tools, wheel loader to wheel loader tools, skid steer to skid steer tools. Then go in that respective category, find the pallet fork and purchase that. And then you can hook it up to the front of your vehicle. So let's say I bought this guy right here and I bought all these different parts separately. Let me just show you how to disconnect them real quick. So if I hit Q, that'll disconnect that. And then I can also disconnect this. So if you wanted to use it as a regular tractor, you can also disconnect it. But to connect it, just do it in reverse, line it up, get here, and then you'll see a command down at the bottom to connect, and then just drive up here, and then you can connect here. Now, how to operate these up in the upper left-hand corner, usually it's mouse controls if you're on PC. It'll be different controls for you if you are on console. But you can see the advanced controls up there in the upper left-hand corner. If I hold down right mouse button, it shows me what those controls are. Left mouse button shows me what those controls are. So that'll be how you can do your controls. Now, finally, if you wanted to buy a forklift, forklifts are also very easy to buy. They're a dedicated unit for this. So if you go in here, just go under forklifts and choose whichever one you would like to buy there. So there you go. That's how you move pallets around on all platforms. All right, so now that you know how to move pallets, let's talk about the profitability of it. I have a link down below in the description to this production's profitability table. It has pretty much all the productions on it. I'm slowly adding them on there as I do my videos on the different productions. But you can see here, we have the sugar mills here. We have the full-size one and we have the small one. The only difference is the small one is, again, 1/10 of the speed. Everything else is going to be identical. All the numbers you're going to look across are going to be, well, just the numbers from the full-size one divided by 10 for the small one. So we have what it is, and then we have the products that we're making. So we have sugar from cut beets, sugar beets, and sugarcane. The inputs, again, are cut sugar beets, and sugarcane. This is how many cycles per month it does of each of them. So 5,880 cycles of this one, 12,000 that one, 8,700 of that one. And this is the input amount, so 5 liters of cut beets, 2 liters of sugar beets, or 2 liters of sugarcane. And this is how much you would make if you sold that stuff separately. So if instead of you put it in the factory, if instead of you doing that, you sold it off, this is what you would get for it if you sold it off instead of putting it in. And then we have the output. So this is how much sugar each of those cycles is going to make. Again, this is all per cycle here. And then we have the output value of how much sugar you're getting. So obviously this one's more per cycle because you're making more sugar per cycle. So that's why that one's a little bit less cycles per month. It's because you're doing a little bit more production there. So you can see we're making, or we're getting an output value of $2.70. That's if you were to sell the sugar off. And then you can see here we have the profit per cycle. So it's actually the most profitable to run it with the cut sugar beets as opposed to the regular sugar beets or the sugar cane. So there you guys go. Though sugar cane's not too bad, honestly. And then here we have profit per month. Though the profit per month is very similar, you have to remember that this is profit per cycle. So this one overall for those materials, it might take you longer to make the money, but you're going to make more money overall. And then we have the inputs. This is how much you have to put in the factory to keep it running. And this is what you're getting out of it. So you can see, obviously, with the cut beets, we're getting a lot more sugar. So that's just kind of the way it is there. And then again, these are all just divided by 10 because it's just the same factory, just divided by 10. It's a tenth the speed. Then if we go down here to used values, this has the values that I use for all the different productions and stuff like that. These are averages on normal economy mode. So these are kind of average prices there. If you want to use it hard prices or easy prices, you can change the prices in here if you download a copy of it for yourself, and then you can adjust it however you want. And if you change anything in here, it will change on this sheet over here. So all the values are tied together. So if you change the price in here, it'll redo all your calculations on the production sheet. Lastly, we need to talk about this being a non-divided production point. So a lot of people don't know necessarily what that means. So we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Let's go back into the game here. So if we go to our production facility, let's go to the sugar mill here. We have all three of these things that we're making. So if I activate, obviously, the sugar beet, obviously there's not any in there, but if it was in there, we would expect it would do 5,880 cycles of this every month. Now, if this was a divided production, which this is not, if it was divided production, the moment I would add another production line in there, so having two running, instead of them running at their full capacity, they'd run at half capacity. However, this is a non-divided, so I could have all three of these running at full capacity, which is really good. So there you go. If you wanted to have them run at full capacity, oh, that's the debug screen. I'll just get rid of that real quick. But if you want to have them run at full capacity, you can easily do that. But there you guys go. That is how to use the Sugarmill in Farming Simulator 25. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.